Hey guys, I know that this is late again. Very common theme here, but I had some real life shit come up the day that these dropped. So that happened, but I am getting this out as soon as I possibly can. Been busy all day today as well. But Datamines have happened, and we got a lot of stuff with this. Lodge is going to be its own video. BPs, Lodge pairs, those are going to be its own video. And really, what's after this banner, or these banners, that's all going to be its own video. So, Shaman is not going to be in here. This is the Master Fairs. All three of them. We got Red and Pikachu right here. We got Ash and Pikachu. And we have Cynthia and Lucario, which becomes Mega Lucario. So we knew Ash and Red, and if you saw the promo art in the other video I did talking about that, oh yeah, these are the three pairs. Yeah, we did know, but yeah, Cynthia was the surprise one of the three, because it's like, oh shit, we knew Ash was gonna be in the universe in some way. We figured Red was gonna be based on the trailer. All of those were assumptions, generally. Then Cynthia was the surprise drop. So, may I just say, from an anniversary hype standpoint, this must be the least hype anniversary I have experienced. For me, at least, personally. Some people are very excited for Ash. Good for you. Some people are very excited for Red. Namely, Sly. Dear God. Happy for you guys. But my issue is it's two Pikachus. Why did DNA think having two Pikachus for anniversary was hype? Because personally, I get more hyped for the Pokemon than the trainer, with varying exceptions. I was excited for Champion Iris. I like Cynthia units. I like those characters. I would love another Clairol. I would love a Clairol. Honestly, I would like that. And everyone has those few trainers that's like, hey, yeah, I would not mind more of this trainer. But you mostly get hyped over the Pokemon. Who didn't like Reshiram? Who didn't like Rayquaza? As the most notable examples, in my opinion. Like, those are the ones that people get hyped over. Who didn't like Hydreigon, honestly? Like, Hydreigon was a very big one for me. Plus, I like Champion Iris. That goes back to the trainer thing, but I digress. Two Pikachus. The most overused Pokemon in Pokemon. Oh, but it's the mascot. Yeah? No shit. They make everyone know that. Like, every region has a Pikachu clone. Pikachu himself is used in fucking everything. I'm just a little sick of seeing Pikachu. Honestly. So, I'm not the biggest fan of Pikachu. So, me seeing two Pikachus as anniversary, I was like, oh. I don't care about this. Simple as that. So, anniversary-wise, for me, this is like the least hype. Ash, I do not care about. Red, I don't care about. Cynthia hit me in the balls. Lucario surprised me, kit-wise. Now, all three of these are very, very good in their own way. Now, I feel like I've rambled on for long enough. We're gonna actually look at the pairs now. Sorry about the rambling. So, we're gonna go over Red and Pikachu first, which, in my opinion, is the best base kit-wise. And probably with Grid as well, better. So, they are Tech. They are dropping on September 1st. So, skill-wise, first Kanto Master Passive being Flag Bearer. We all know what Flag Bearer does. We know what the Master Passives do. We have three. If you're new to this, we have three forms of Master Passives. We have Flag Bearer, which buffs both an even amount. We have Pride, which buffs physical attacks by a greater percent. They have a Spirit, which buffs special attacks by a greater percent. We'll get more into that later. Red's Fighting Spirit Electric Terrain extension. So if you look at Kyogre and Groudon now, it's that same level of extension. Quicker charges move gauge when the terrain is electric, so it's a built-in turbocharge. Restores the used HP whenever it takes action in electric terrain. So that's another shock recovery. So you can get 2 HP regen ticks via the grid, but personally I wouldn't worry about that too much. Clutch critical, except in certain circumstances, critical guard and vigilance. Successful hits with the user's following attacks become critical hits. Moves, sync moves, or max moves. So red is obviously G-Max, as we can see with max stuff. Like I go flip the Dynamax there, for example. I made me X, right? Wrong thing. Yeah, I made me X since okay. So yeah, now we'll come back to this later, because this is an important conversation I want to have. Then max countdown 3, reducing countdown -3 after using a max move. So when you use your max move, you get an additional -3 countdown on top of the -1, right? So it's effectively about half of your bar, which is great. So you can use this. So you can use this as a support sync. Like after your support syncs, you max move. So 1, you get the X2 damage bonus from the support buff, and you get -3 after. So you can set up either his sync nuke or a strike nuke with him, because you don't have to sync nuke with him. You really do not have to. Now, moves, we have Thunder Shock, 1 bar, 20 BP. This is what you're going to use just generally racking up damage. No, not racking up damage, but like before you have Electric Terrain up for this, you'll be using Thunder Shock to get that countdown down. We have Electric Terrain, which will last about 50% as long. Terrain, we all know how terrains and zones work at this point. But if you happen to be looking at this for the first time, not knowing how Masters generally works, saying, oh yeah, I'm going to get into this game for Red Pikachu. Terrains are a 50% buff to that type. So electric attacks will do 50% more damage. Modifiers are entirely different, so that's another video. That'll be in the guide. So B Volt Tackle. This is the buddy skill system. This is brand new. 180 base power, 2 bars AoE. They made Volt Tackle AoE in this. Okay, now this is very long. So buddy skills are locked initially. When you achieve certain conditions, they will be unlocked and can relock under other conditions. So it's like when X condition is met, you can use the move. However, if Y happens, you can't use it again until X condition is met again. Simple. So to put this very simply, for the active condition, when the terrain is electric terrain. So when electric terrain's up, you'll be able to use B Volt Tackle. Deactivation condition, when the field is no longer electric terrain. So when electric terrain goes away, you can no longer use B Volt Tackle. Very self-explanatory. That's like the basic summary of buddy skills. Activate condition, deactivate condition, that's it. So, but then the move itself ignores passive skills that would reduce the damage of this attack, ignores passive skills that would protect the target against a critical hit. So this can go through vigilance, sorry about my mic, and any form of physical damage reduction, being like Uxie. That's like the best example I could give off the tip of my head. This doesn't ignore certain CS, for example, Aaron, for the physical damage reduction. That is built in. That's not a passive. This will not ignore that. Ignores target enduring effect, so you can go through endure. The power of this move will not be lowered even if there are multiple targets. So the AoE here and this is built-in extend range. They put extend range in B Volt Tackle, just built in. That's hilarious. Then it lowers the target's defense and special defense by 1 stat rank when the target is paralyzed. When we get into the max move, this will be always. So they'll be paralyzed. You're lowering their defensive stats. This is insane. Spark of Victory, 1 use, raises the use attack by 6, applies gradual healing to all sync pairs. So you give everyone HP regen, max out his own attack, and guaranteed crit. Now, so when it comes to buddy moves, this is a little bit more of a complex topic. And this will be getting its own video in the future, going more and more into this when we get into move types, crit rate, and all that. But, so, when it comes to max moves, regular moves, and sync moves, those are the 3 attack types at the moment, buddy being unknown. Those each have their own crit rates and have to be specified. So if it says this Pokemon's moves are powered up under X condition, sync moves and max moves will not get that same buff. So like Static Shock, for example, it says powers up sync moves when the target is paralyzed. Sync moves are specified. So your your max move and your regular moves will not get that. Attack to the max, powers up uses max moves. Same example. Sync moves won't be buffed, regular moves won't be buffed. Now, here is the tricky part. Buddy moves are in the regular move slots, obviously, and they're not specified. So the assumption is that they count as regular moves. And if they do, their crit rate should be the same as regular moves. So, now this example doesn't exactly pertain to Red and Pikachu because they're guaranteed crits regardless. But people like Ash and Cynthia, who also have buddy moves, their crit rate, for example, if you would have 3 crit rate, those should be guaranteed crits because they're normal moves. Not like max moves and sync moves that need additional passives such as Soften Up or something like Clutch Critical, where it's a guaranteed crit, or Crit Next, where that's locked into the +4. The invisible +4, I should say. So the assumption is that these operate the same as regular moves, which opens up some very, very funny stuff that we will go into later. So this means that buddy moves should get the master passive buffs, because the moves is the key word here. Not sync moves, not max moves, it says the moves. If we go into process synergy here, it says the user's moves. It's the same wording. So master passives only affect base moves, which should be buddy moves as well, because this process synergy will directly affect buddy. Because Thunder Shock does not get marginally anything from that. Like, let's be honest here. So that is all that. Now, sync move, Lightning Fast, Volt Tackle starts as 240 BP. EX goes up. You have two sync things here for 410. We know how that works. Attack is power up when the terrain is electric. So when it comes to built-in sync modifiers, this specific example is 50%. To round up the electric terrain buff to an X2. It's meant to replicate that. So that's good. But then when we get to the grid, we have Haymaker as well, which is an X2 when your attack is +6. Oh, shocker, +6. Oh, wonderful. And because it's tech, it's single target, but you get the base power increase. Now max moves, right? We have G-Max Volt Crash Special, and G-Max Volt Crash Physical. But then Max Guard. Max Guard you're probably not going to use unless under a specific instance where you need an additional tanking. You don't need the paralysis. You're not going to drop their defenses. You just give someone a free damage guard. That's fine. You can make a tank it with that. So G-Max Volt Crash Special, I fully expect this to be able to one-shot Aaron. And because there's special here, that goes with TM Ramp Up here. So TM Ramp Up, when you use Spark of Victory, it'll give +6 attack and +2 special attack. So you only need +4 special attack, which most supports will be able to do just fine with X special attack all, for example, like Rotom. I think Rotom's a good example here. So 1 out of 5 grid, right? We're just gonna look at the grid now. He does not get much. He gets some B Volt Tackle stuff, Headstrong, so your attack doesn't drop. But then just some general extra attack nodes. So that's not horrible at all. Like 1 out of 5 grids is everything on here. That is not debatable. 2 out of 5, you get Static Shock. That is good. Paralysis Energy is personally whatever to me because it's only 1, but maybe this is scale high enough, or all this will scale high enough where it's worth it. I don't know. And Electric Train Precision Pals, if you need to give people accuracy for whatever reason, that's an option. Grounded Wire cannot be hit with an affliction. Then Charge Media cannot be hit with a status condition when Electric Terrain is up. So those are fine. Some more B-Volt Tackle stuff. You also get said TM ramp up at 2 out of 5. So some very good stuff. You can power up your sync move, more stuff, even more. Thundershock House Environment, you're not going to use MGR or whatever. Then Max Grid, you get Thundershock Staggering. So a 50% chance to flinch off a Thundershock. That's very good. You get the Haymaker. You get the additional shock recovery if you need to heal more. Attack to the max. 30% buff when your attack is raised to your max moves. With a BP as high as 480, that makes a big difference. Along with Electric Train's initial 50% buff that you'll be using before. So that's like super strong. You get Cakewalk. That goes with Shocking Showdown. So as you're lowering their defenses while Electric Train's up, you're also lowering their speed. But then Cakewalk will scale off speed for your sync, which is another X2. This is harder to come by. Speed debuffs are harder to come by. It's only by 1, so you'll be taking a little bit of time. Especially since you're doing the max countdown after a support EX. So you won't have that much time to fully ramp up Cakewalk, so you need someone else to do that for you. If you really wanted to do that, I personally wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to, by all means, I guess. Then you get Piercing Gaze. So let's say someone raises their evasion by a stupid amount, it lowers your accuracy. B-Volt Tackle is not a guaranteed hit. Even with accuracy, it could still be a bitch. So Piercing Gaze can be handy for stages like that, where they just throw mud in your eye. A lot of mud in your eye. Max Conductivity turns the field of play into Electric after the user's max move. So what you can do is that you can hyper accelerate a strike sync nuke for someone else. So you can go max conductivity and do your sync move pretty much so you could TM, then max move immediately for -3 countdown, and it's a guaranteed crit. Hitting everyone. While setting up your Electric Terrain for whatever nuke you're doing. So this can be good for like hyper accelerated content, or if you just need another Electric Terrain in general, you can save your max move until your first one's done, pop max move, and then save your last Electric Terrain, for example. You can do that, that's an option. But to then the sync power is there. Red is stupid good base kit, because the rest of this is mostly just damage. And with B-Volt Tackle, the max move, and even this 1 out of 5 would hit very hard. Like, you do not need dupes for this character. Everything is just additional damage with a few utility things, not much though. Personally, my favorite is the staggering, but you're not even really going to use that because you're using them for B-Volt Tackle. It can be used in specific circumstances though, which is fine. So like, Ash is, in my opinion, the strongest unit here just because he has so many versatile functions, base kit-wise. You can make someone tankier with Max Guard. You have Electric Terrain, Extended Electric Terrain. You can lower defenses. Like, he just does so much here. Like, he is so good. And you heal yourself a little bit, which is fine. So yeah, I think I've spoken enough at Red. Let's go into Pikachu number 2. Right? So, Ash and Pikachu. Everyone was excited when we got Ash. People have been waiting for this for a very long time, and I think this is what's going to get people into the game. So, EX stats. Oh, I forgot to go over red stats. So, 520 special attack is pretty good. I forgot to go over red stats. So, 300, 370, 370. His offenses are a little bit lower, which is fine in my opinion. But then we got a whopping 527. That's a fair amount. And his HP is pretty high as well. So, if we were to look at someone like Rotom. 600 HP, someone who's meant to be a tank. If we look at, I'm just going to do Sing Suit Blue because that's the one off the tip of my head. 700 HP. That doesn't change. I'm an idiot. Forgot to EX Rotom for that example. Oh, yeah, you were EX. Yeah, 600. So Pikachu has, like, high base HP for some reason. 800 is a fair amount. So what they did here is that they made Pikachu able to tank. You can make him tank, which is weird to say, but you can make Pikachu tank. People are saying that they gave Ash and Pikachu the anime bullshit, which I think is hilarious. I don't think it's funny as hell. So Ash has Kanto Spirit. I had no idea how they were going to do Ash, because, oh, but he's from Kanto. This version of Ash is Journey's. You can be born and raised in Kanto, but he wasn't representing a region in this instance, to my knowledge. He came as the Alolan winner, I think. I'm not that caught up with anime stuff, but Journey's isn't grounded to a specific region is my point. This Ash, I had no idea what they were going to do with, but they went with he was born in Kanto, so that's what they're gonna do. Fine, whatever. It does not matter to me. I don't care. So Kanto Spirit, as it powers up special attack moves of allies by 20%, going up to 50 if you have 3. That's huge. Ash's Passion powers up Thunder. This is like about a 40-something BP increase that I counted yesterday. So I could be wrong about that. But yeah, about 40. Decreases the amount of move grade slots the user needs by 1. So it's fuel economy with the BP increase and never misses. So it has Piercing Gaze with Thunder. That's like, okay. Ash's Tenacity, when the user enters battle with full HP, applies Enduring. Okay, very similar to the other Pikachu. MC. There are not multiple Pikachus. MC with Pikachu, where they get Endure at the start. When the user's Enduring effect enters for the first time, the user has 1 HP remaining, applies Endure again. So you get a guaranteed Unyielding, where Endure just reapplies for the first time only. So you could take 2 lethal hits. Then initial pinch special boost increases special move next of 2 ranks for the first time. It is in a pinchy trail. So when you're around that Endure range, you get 2 special next. Right? So moves Thunder obviously 192 base power, guaranteed hit. Never miss 1 turn, doesn't fucking matter. Has chance paralyze, whatever, 2 bars. He has 2 unique TMs, so we're gonna go over those first before the buddy move. Not gonna lose. Restores the user's HP by approximately 20%, so it's about Potion. No, I think it's a little less than Potion. In this game, it's weird. Charges the user's move gauge by 6. Applies Gradual Healing. And applies Super Effective next to the user. And Damage Guard. So, you get 3 hits guaranteed in your face with Damage Guard. So, you want to pop this before you buddy. Because you get the Super Effective next. And you buddy and as you can probably read here, you use a maximum of 6 slots of these move gauge. The more used, the greater power of the sex. So you want full 6, drain all 6 that turn. So that's what you do for B Thunderbolt. So you want to use this before B Thunderbolt. Then going all out is the one you want to use at the start. Raises special attack by 4 star ranks. Raises crit rate by 3. In addition, raises the user's special attack and speed by 2 star ranks, where the user's HP is half or more. So you get a little bit of speed. That's fine. And you backside your special attack and crit in 1 shot. Now, as we said before, buddy moves should be the same as regular moves, where it's 3 crit rate guaranteed crit. So B Thunderbolt would be critting guaranteed. You're not fishing for crits like you are with some max moves, even though you wouldn't fish in my opinion, but whatever. B Thunderbolt, active condition, when the user uses any move 3 times. So to my knowledge, you just have to use Thunder 3 times. It's not TM, Thunder, TM, B Thunderbolt. It should be Thunder 3 times. That's what it should be. I could be wrong, though. Could be wrong if someone happens to know more a condition similar to this. Well, not condition, but where, hey, you need to use a move. I think it has to be an attacking move or a status move, not a TM. Deactivate cannot be deactivated, so it's a one-time use. So there's no deactivation condition. It's just use it, done. Never misses. Does that. Use a maximum 6 move outs. So yeah, you can. So it's like a power flux. You consume move gauge and it increases the base power up to 480. So I don't have the exact numbers on what each bar would be, but this can reach Dynamax levels of increased Dynamax levels of base power with base move modifiers. So this includes your 2 stacks of special next from this. This includes your master passive. Like, this is ridiculous. This could probably be one of the hardest hitting moves in the game, period. People say, oh yeah, he's doing sync levels of damage. No, he's doing Dynamax levels of damage. This is gonna be a one-time nuke that hits super hard. So Ash is just DPS out the wazoo with some tanking capabilities, but he doesn't do anything else besides this here. Which is whatever. So, damage, you can... I would say Ash is the most skippable pair, in my opinion, just because of what he does is easily replaceable. Damage is replaceable. You can find other people to do the damage that you need. Sync, 10 million volt Thunderbolt, being the Z move. Except the circumstances, this move will always crit AoE because of EX. Now, you can give him Static Shock 8 and Brain Sync 8. So when your Special Attack is raised, 80%, Static Shock paralyzed, 80%. With Electric Terrain, because you're going to put Electric Terrain, you don't need Rejuvenate. Master Healers, TM Propulsion 9, so you have some form of countdown along with Pinch Push. When you enter that, when you enter this range, you also get 3 countdown. So that could be very valuable. Thunder PR, you're not really going to do that, but it's a funny option. I might try it one day if I get him 3 out of 5. Turbocharge, Shock Recovery, on the rope, quick here, so tanking stuff. Sync nodes for 400 BP it is? Yeah, for up to 400. Now, okay, this is the one I'm worried about. You might notice I skipped over it. Well, okay, well, first off, he could remove status conditions, so that's great. Restores 1 MP for the user's trainer the first time it's each battle. Okay, so you can give yourself another special move next. Sorry, super offensive move next. What I was worried about upon first reading this is, will this give B Thunderbolt back? But now reading it for the user's trainer, this should not replenish B Thunderbolt. It would be absolutely stupid if it did. But thank God it doesn't. I would have been so worried if it did, honestly. Well, because I recorded one half of a video with Sly, which you guys will probably see in the next few days because I still have to edit that. But I specifically said that as, like, I hope it doesn't. Now reading it, it doesn't. Fine by me. Now, grid-wise, 1 out of 5, you get everything as usual. Thunder MGR, not bad. On the ropes, you get Turbocharge, Shock Recovery. You get the Master Healer, Shake Off. So if you needed a cleanse, you would need 2 out of 5. Then 3 out of 5 is where you get most of your countdown-related stuff and the rest of your sync modifiers. So if you want full AoE damage with them, go for 3 out of 5. But with B Thunderbolt the way it is, you only want a 1 out of 5. B Thunderbolt does not get any benefits. That is your nuke anyway. So you don't need any more damage. Like, he just hits that hard. So far we're 2 for 2 on 1 out of 5, and you're done. But if you want to candy these pairs, go for it. But the usual standard is don't go past 3 out of 5 unless if you're a Mega Whale. Now the last one. This one is the most interesting. My initial opinion of this character was not good. Like, it really was not. But after talking to some people in Discord and just thinking in general, I have a changed perspective on this unit, but I still have my issues with it. So, Cygnus Suit Aura Lucario, which I heard someone say Genethia, as in like jeans, Cynthia, because it looks like she is wearing denim, although you really can't see it here. It looks like she's wearing denim. So it's like a jean jacket. So, Genethia, I might call her that. So if you hear me say Genethia out of context, I'm talking about this pair. Personally, I want to call it so fucking bad, but I know everyone would be lost. So obviously, Mega, they are a support releasing on the 30th. So they're the second one. Ash releasing on the 27th, I think it was. I forgot to check that. I'll do that for you guys, because I am an idiot. 28th. So 28th is when Ash will drop. So 2 days at the time of this recording. 2 days after that, then 2 days after that. So now, okay. My first issue with this Cynthia. This is our second Master Fair Cynthia. Why? And both of them have Flag Bearer. Why? This is confusing. Why? Why would you do that? Like, I get it, Cynthia, but one, why another Master Fair? And two, why another Flag Bearer? I guess your support so that they could buff either, but okay? Sure? Whatever? I guess? Other words along that sentiment? Alright, first passive, Cynthia's Aura. I'm rambling too long. Turns into Fighting Zone when you enter, and whenever you sink, Fighting Zone reapplies. This is my one issue with this character, and my biggest issue. So, if you don't know how terrains, zones, and weathers work, they last one full sync cycle. Meaning that when you do all 9 of your actions, when you get your sync move, if you did said zone, weather, terrain on that first turn or on entry, it will run out just before you sync. So it'll run out, then your sync animation will go off. That's how it's designed. With this in mind, Lucario starts with Fighting Zone every time you sync with Lucario. Assuming you don't have countdown. Ignore the head start. I'm going to get into that later. Assuming you don't have countdown, you will be locked into syncing specifically with Cynthia if you're trying to buff a fighting type. Because you have to keep the zone up, doesn't have Fighting Wish, no other way to reapply it. Very similar issue with Ho-Oh back in the day, Ho-Oh and Silver, where they couldn't keep their own sun up. You had to have someone else do it for Ho-Oh to get the Solar Flare buff. That is my issue with this. It's like a Ho-Oh. You can't support a fighting nuke with this. Unless you have countdown, which I'm going to keep saying that, because this unit, her only form of countdown is Head Start 1. Now, this is a problem, which I will go into a little bit later. So, she either needed... She needed countdown somewhere else, or some form of terrain extension. Or zone extension, I should say. But she doesn't. So, this is awkward. Team Fist Bump 3. 4% chance of restoring ally HP when the user's attack is successful. So when you're hitting them with Vacuum Wave for additional countdown, you have a chance to heal. Initial guard. Sorry. Applies damage guard next when it enters the battle. When you Mega, this will reapply. That is very good. Like, very good. And no moves or passives change when you Mega, so I'm gonna keep it at Mega for Mega stats sake. Actually, let me EX her. So at almost 800 base HP, 400 defenses, so that's not bad at all. So move-wise, Vacuum Wave, one bar, doesn't do shit. It's just for countdown, and this down here. Potion, so you heal. Buddy, I'll go into it in a little bit. It won't end here. It raises defense and social defense of all its ingress by 4. raises it by 6 if you're in a fighting zone. So when you enter the field, it won't end here. Plus 6 defenses for all allies. That is ridiculous. So with that, she has pretty good defensive stats, healing in the kit, and max defenses. So she can... I want to say she is the best tank in the game now, but someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, if there's someone I'm not thinking of, because I think this can be a contender for best tank. Going by Battle Aura Sphere, 192 BP, becomes Mega Lucario, support sync. Support syncs are very valuable, and all that. So now, Buddy Aura Sphere, 84 BP, 2 uses, single target, no move bars. This is what surprised me. Activate condition when the user is hit by an attack move twice. Deactivate condition when this move is used. When the move is used. So what this means is that you have 2 uses of it. So you are hit 2 times. You can use a Aura Sphere. You use it, it goes away again. You get hit 2 more times. You can use your second one. That's what this means. It's only 84 base power because Aura Sphere itself is not a strong move. So never misses like Aura Sphere. Applies move gauge acceleration. Increases physical and special next by 2 stat ranks for all allies. That is fucking ridiculous. Remember how hard Lugia can hit when he applies 3 for himself? And that's taking a turn to do his own special next. Lucario can literally just give someone 2, then give another 2 later on. So someone can keep hitting. Also, physical next is rare, because the only pairs we have it in are now Lucario, Celebi, and Flygon. Remember Flygon? This is your Flygon. This move is absolutely broken. Cannot stress this enough. Aura Sphere is fucking ridiculous in the utility it gives. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, grid-wise, I'm gonna go over this slowly, but then we'll get into how my counting works with this. 2 Aura Sphere power-ups, haste, so speak and drop, sand shelter. Very minimal stuff. It is whatever. 2 out of 5, you get Team Staring Contest. All allies can't flinch. This is meant to mirror, what's it called? Inner focus, except it applies to everyone. So that can be useful for some specific stages. Vacuum Wave MGR, so effectively a no bar. That is pretty good. TMNPR, it won't end here. So if your allies' defenses drop, if you're using it against Entei, for example, which I think you're weak to fire? Yeah, you're weak to fire, so why the fuck would you do that? But yeah, as an example, the first one that came to mind who can actually lower defenses, you can just raise them all again. So that's fine. Tough Cookie, the more the use defense is raised, the more powers it moves, up to 30%. So I think there's potential to make Aura Sphere hit decent numbers, and Tough Cookie is a way how to do that, along with your special next stacks. You get some potion stuff, so 2 out of 5 is a good side port if you want that. Brawling acceleration, move get acceleration when fighting zones up, so you get it at the start. And fighting zone team charge tank 4. This is one of the best abilities in here, in my opinion. 50% chance of restoring the user's HP when it's hit by an attack move when in fighting zone. So when you're getting hit to activate Aura Sphere, you just heal. Coin flip chance to heal. That is so good. Now, if you remember how consistent Blue's Tri-Edge Tank and Fist Bump are, Lucario's are more consistent than that. We have a new Blue and Blastoise with this when it comes to healing and tanking. Now, the rest of the grid, I'm not gonna do it here, just so that I'm just strictly looking at the stuff. So, more potion stuff up here. Vacuum Wave. Oh yeah, and I forgot Vacuum Wave Gobsmack. It's just confusion. You could paralyze as well off it, so that's pretty nice. You get Impervious, So your defenses are staying at +6. That's very good. Sync free for all. Applies free move next the first time you use Sync each battle. So when you do your support EX, you give a free move. You have so much move gauge support with this pair, despite not increasing speed. You have move gauge acceleration. You have free moves. You have a 1-bar spammable move. Beorster itself takes 0. Very good move gauge efficient character. Like, that's very good. And Vacuum Wave focus group. When you use Vacuum Wave, you raise the crit of allies. So very similar to Lily and Poltergeist. Poltergeist isn't the right word. That's not your name, is it? I'm tired. No, not you. Yeah, Poltergeist. Yeah, I was like, I know Poltergeist is like a ghost phenomenon, so why am I... Whatever. I'm getting distracted again. So, very similar to Special Costume Lily, you can max out crit rate just by doing this. You get an extra 50 HP, and you get Head Start 1. Normally, I value this a lot. However, with this pair, I would have so much preferred to see Adrenaline. Here is the reason why. We're going to go back to Cynthia Zora now. This is where the tangent really begins. So first off, from what you noticed from the grid and everything, you don't have an offensive support besides focus group. So you can only buff crit rate as an offensive support along with damage augments. Now, if you don't know what I mean by damage augments I categorize as super offensive up, physical next, special next. Those I consider augments because they're not a mandatory part of your setup, but it's purely extra. It's just extra modifiers from an external source. So that's what I call an augment. So I've got field effects, augments, and then support EX, base stats. That's really what I call them. If you guys are confused about that, I say augments as in those 3 things in one bubble. So zone, as I explained before, lasts just before your sync ends. So you have to constantly keep syncing with Cynthia in order to keep fighting zone up. So when it comes to general support setups, you want your support to EX for the EX buff. So that first sync can be the full 9 turns, and that's fine. Because the zone will not buff because the zone won't do much for Lucario's sync move. Where the issue comes in is the second sync. People typically try to nuke off that second sync. Head Start doesn't reapply on Mega, which I learned this. Because of the very specific wording, each battle. It enters about each battle. So it's specific. So it does not reapply on Mega. So Mega, you have the full 9 actions. Unless if you save countdown for post support EX. Or if you have another support to top off someone offensively. That's fine. For example, B needs extra help setup wise. Once again, this is assuming fighting. I think Guzma's fine. I don't have Guzma. Wall needs help. Lucario needs a little... Well, Lucario can max out his own attack. Nah, keep benefits off. Anyway, B needs help. Said that already. Keldeo needs a little bit of help for a special attack. So chances are you'll need to bring someone else to do that for you. So what Adrenaline would have allowed, granted you could still get it via Lucky Skill. 1 is not enough. In my opinion. I would prefer 2. So if Head Start 1 here was Adrenaline 1, you can have Adrenaline 2 via the grid. So when you sync, you get -2 right away. So you have an extra 2 actions under fighting terrain. So you get an extra 2 actions for fighting terrain. I say terrain. Zone. Fighting zone. I need to stop saying terrain. So your sync would go to who your syncer is, but then you can quad Q into another strong attack. that would be your extra 2 actions. How it stands right now, you cannot sync with a DPS at all. Because of no countdown, so your zone is running out when you get that sync. However, you can use her for any content where you can tank any self-sufficient striker. You can use her as your tank, doesn't have to be fighting, and the fighting you purely use for fighting zone tri-edge tank. And no harm, no foul. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's specifically buffing a fighting type that is my issue. And her only offensive stat is focus group. That I find just bleh. So people need to fully support themselves. So you can't cut corners by maxing out someone super fast, having countdown, support EX, go. So Cynthia feels slower to me, setup-wise. She feels slower. Now, I'm not saying this is bad. Initially, I said that this was bad. I've changed my mindset on this. Now, how I would fix this, if you don't want to change the grid at all, if you want to keep head start there, fine, whoopie-doo. I would have given Biosphere 2 bars and gave a -1 countdown. That is all I would have done, and that would fix this entirely. Granted, this might perform differently in-game than what I'm thinking, which is very likely the case. Like, this might not be an issue at all. But if they gave Aurasphere 2 bars and -1 countdown, I would have absolutely fell head over heels for this pair. Because Fighting Zone on entry and sync is weird. Don't have a way to manually manipulate the turns like that. But if she had countdown with Biosphere, I would have loved this pair so fucking much. And yeah, personally, I'm going to get her 3 out of 5. I have 2 support candies sitting on the side because I want to play with all this. She's getting EX right away. If I get her day 1 off of the 5 multis for the rewards, yay. If not, I'm not going to stress it too much. But it is what it is. So, very, very good character that I had to really read into and think about. Because when I read this, I called it shit because of no offensive support, no countdown, and Fighting Zone is weird. Those are my 3 points. Well, the Fighting Zone, how it works for this is weird. Those are my 3 talking points. And I thought it was dog shit. But after talking to several people, I have changed this. She is going to be the best tank in the game, or at least top 3. Fully expecting top 3. Top, I'm probably forgetting someone. Her stats can be lowered to 3 out of 5. She has a ridiculous amount of healing. She has move get deceleration. She has physical next. And special next. Like, physical next was the big thing for me, because it's like, not many people do that. Selby gets it 3 out of 5. That's perfectly fine. It's only 1 stat rank, so I'm like, on. Flygon, who is stupid good. And now Cynthia. I know Guzzler gives it to himself. Shut up. It's off of this. That's it. But it's selfish. And Leon gives it to himself as well. SS Leon? No, not SS. Christmas. Christmas gives it to himself, but people who supply it was what I wanted. Now, this isn't what I had in mind for Lucario, but personally, I personally think a tanking Lucario is very cool. Oh, because I saw Sonic 2 again recently when I was at the airport, and just the specific shot of Knuckles having it in the ruins, Knuckles having his hands up and just fucking Sonic coming, punches him right in the face through a wall. I found that very reminiscent to what I wanted in a Lucario. All because, like, literally, I saw the movie, but then I saw that, I was like, oh shit, and my mind just went to Knuckles. Like, I think it's very cool having, like, a tank. Having, like, a tank fighter. Although granted, I want to use it with counter now. Just to have fun with that. Just mental image. But whatever. I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, those are the data mines for the Master Fairies. So let me know in the comments down below, how many candies do you have? Are you going for any of these? Or do Groudon and Kyogre interest you more? Because that's also an option. These banners last a month, Ash a month and a half. So you have time to decide. Still have anniversary sales. Ash has a 1K page gem multi as well. I'm gonna be doing that. So yeah, just a lot of stuff is going on here. So let me know in the comments who you're going to go for. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.